I'm pleased to bring in right now Rabbi Steven Burg. He is the CEO of Aish Global. Rabbi, it's great to have you. Obviously, we knew this was a potential after taking out the nuclear sites, but there's also a report that in the New York Times that we know Iranians potentially gave Qatar a heads up. This might just be for their global audience and show. React to the news of the day right now and how we're seeing some momentous, taking down of the Iranian salvo here and what we are watching over the skies in the Middle East.
This is classic Iranians. I mean, bait and switch, play games, don't do anything frontal. Thankfully, President Trump, in his great wisdom, took one of the greatest chess pieces off the board. So that's no longer a threat to us. But this is the way they do things. They tell Qatar we're sending some missiles, make sure everyone's out of the way. It's a game to them, and we need the regime to just be out.
Yeah, and in fact, the other piece of news that came in minutes ago was that Iran says the missile barrage on Qatar was the same number of bombs used by U.S. on nuclear sites. So signaling desire to de-escalate. That's really been the goal here, is to get them to a negotiating table, to get Iran to stop enriching uranium, which, if it's for energy, we know it never had to be at the levels that we saw. And President Trump has joined with Israel. And your reaction to now where it goes from here? We saw billboards thanking President Trump in Tel Aviv, and the potential now that there could still be a reshaping of the Middle East where Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon and the largest state sponsor of terrorism may have been neutered. Your reaction to some of the thoughts today in Israel?
Look, I think if the Iranian people were free, they would put these same billboards up. I think that everyone understands that the people in charge of Iran are bad guys. They couldn't have a nuclear weapon. That was taken off the table. We're incredibly thankful because everyone's been talking about this for years. And finally, you had President Trump act. I mean, this is in Parliament the other day. They burnt an American flag and screamed death to America in the Parliament. You're not talking about in the street. So this is one of the greatest enemies. They killed over 200 Marines in the 1980s while they slept. They're cowards. And I can't tell you how thankful the people of Israel are to President Trump, but the entire world is actually thankful too. In all those closed rooms in the Middle East, everyone is thanking him for taking a stand against Iran, the evil bullies of the Middle East. And what we're going to see here is freedom ring from sea to shining sea across the world as a result of these actions.
Rabbi Burg, before we let you go, there have been some protests on the streets here in our country, and there's a big concern about sleeper cells. FBI is now increasing their vigilance, New York as well. This was Los Angeles, I believe. What's your reaction to how people are feeling here in some of these cities and the concern about what that last administration did to erode our national security with wide open borders that now President Trump has to contend with?
We should be very concerned about sleeper cells because these are terrorists. They happen to have a country, but they're really terrorists. And that's what they do. They basically hit out on men, women, and children. That's what they did on October 7th, and that's what they continue to do. And America is a very strong country. I don't think the rest of the world understands how strong we are. And we need every single American to stand strong and to go to these people that are waving Iranian flags, the flags of terrorists, and say to them, you're not the majority here. You're an incredible minority. We're not going to let you get away with this. We're not going to let you support terrorists. And if terrorists stand up, then they're going to be taken down by incredible, beautiful Americans within the security forces in America and the average Americans, because we don't let anyone tread on this country. We don't let anyone come in and do evil to our people. We protect our people, and that's the way it's been for hundreds of years, and that's the way it needs to be for the future.
Rabbi Steven Burg, we appreciate your thoughtful comments today in the middle of this breaking news in the skies in the Middle East. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless.